Let's see if Hope comes. Hope's
Oh,
here.
there she is.
Oh,
Hi,
Oh,
everybody.
like printed agendas?
Yeah.
And I just, for the people. Okay.
because Tom's not going to be here. 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 Here.
No, mine, thank you.
Everybody.
Hi.
We can choose to be elected officials. The people that get
Hey Tom, can you hear on the Zoom?
one of the
Alright, sounds good. Lisa, can you hear good?
elected board is actually more than
Oh, I just made it.
I noticed that our friend, Mr.
But you're all good, right, Tom?
is going to be on remote, so I can,
Oh, good.
I just,
Oh, terrific. Thank you. I appreciate it.
not a problem.
I should always bring that.
It's okay. Just to kind of, well, you know what happened? It was a hiking trip. We were in Amsterdam for 3 days straight, and the hike, a lot of rain.
We had a
So
lot of rain.
I should send you an email, yeah. Part of it was Robin wanted to go see the tulips. And there's a certain season for them. So we had a
For
lot
the
to go.
tulips?
Yeah.
Was it a
So-
river cruise?
No, it was hiking.
Oh,
So my number one day was 12 miles. And I felt pretty tired after
we'll
that.
have to try that.
Hiking. But I will say, it was in Belgium. Flat, pretty flat. A lot of it was interesting. It was in the Ardennes Forest, Battle of Bulge area. Very interesting. And there was a guy who had done a lot of research about that. It's interesting because Robin's uncle was in the Battle of the Bulge, and he was shot and wounded, and he survived because he was basically frozen for 3 days.
Whoa.
If he hadn't, he was literally caked in snow. Otherwise, he would have bled out.
My dad was
And he just died last year, and the shrapnel was still in his. I'm sorry, you said your
My
dad?
dad was a good. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. That's,
He got a battlefield commission and
it was quite a,
Silver Stars.
Did he speak to Navy or not?
I didn't.
Did he speak to Navy or not?
He did not. I just filled him in.
Davy, in the words of Tilda Radner, it's always something.
Rosanna, Dana, Banner, or
Do
something.
you have any more,
Do you want me to text him out? Did Pam say anything about?
I know she's coming on the way back from,
No, Tom's on video.
Yeah.
You know that?
Where's Tom?
Who knows, actually, wow.
No, I mean,
his mother has COVID,
oh,
and he was exposed, so they thought it better to.
yes, I couldn't agree with that more. Despite my 7 inoculations, I just heard of someone I know who, oh,
so she's in her early 90s. Well, you gotta be
That's-
careful.
Once he said,
Yeah.
once he said,
You want me to pass it down?
Maybe we should invite, we're just having a presentation.
Where do you,
Here we go.
Hi Pam.
Hi, I just texted you when you were just talking about your ETA. Jumpsuit. Yes, that's the whole process.
Glad you came in. How was your trip? How was your trip?
I'll use Tommy's book since he's not here, because I like to write.
And then tomorrow it's the main
you just won't have, we'll share,
I thought,
we can share the minutes if you wanna.
Oh,
So I went to Harris
I presume,
They're all in there.
I didn't mean to.
Oh, the agenda.
The agenda.
Oh, yeah, no,
English is my most better language.
Well, especially, yeah, mine too.
Agenda, minute.
Minutes.
I've done it in the winter.
You know, I have to go 2 more times, so I'm not happy as a camper, but
Where did you have to go?
Harrisonburg, how was your trip?
My trip was the 3 days in Amsterdam were great. The 7-day hiking trip was interesting.
Did you get any, Richard?
But we
Did you
had
get-
a
okay.
lot of rain. And,
Soggy, so it was soggy.
but yes, and we had one, when we were in, part of it was in Holland, and it was very flat, and very exposed, and we were going to this famous site of windmills, but the area is very exposed. It's beautiful, beautiful. Then a hailstorm. And it was like, felt like little, and of course the wind was blowing right in the direction.
Well, it's May.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, and it was
Or April, that one.
the little, it was like having little pebbles. So everybody was eating like this. It was absolutely, it was one of those things like, this trip was on with a company called Backwards.
Belong to anybody?
So,
Is this case
the
belong to
leader
anybody?
said, there are 2 kinds of fun.
No?
Type A fun is when you're having fun. Type 2 fun is when you're having a miserable time. But when you look back at it and say, hey, that was fun. This was definitely type 2 fun.
Someday, about a year, when you have some distance.
Yeah.
Debbie,
I just have to ask Kyle to get me some.
what's happening with our screens? Why aren't they in a V? Why aren't we seeing Tommy on 2 screens?
Oh, we're seeing him, he's moving.
Pardon?
He's moving, he just moved. I think there he is, he's moving. Can you hear us?
Can you see us, Tommy? I guess not.
He's moving.
Are you happy now? Jeff, are
Did
you
you-
happy now?
Have you, have you collected that judgment for me yet?
I wanted a whole. Give it to me. I'll take a third. It's all good.
We have,
That's an amazing sell.
Patrick, what's happening with my screens, Patrick?
It's actually raising the question, how are you?
well, I have a good friend in Open Levels, which is a firm that is really good at this international collection stuff.
Yeah.
So they're going to, the good thing about
Thank you.
having a judgment, there's a lot of money. Our client would be so happy that, he's an older guy, he didn't get into it for the money, but he'd be happy.
Hey,
I mean,
Debbie.
it was quasi pro bono. On the other hand, if we did,
Debbie,
you'll
I
see
noticed
me
it at the
manana.
last meeting, that's why I wore the shirt.
No manana? Yeah, right. I'm not counting on it.
Can we turn this to make that a V? Yeah, let, the one in your left hand, let it face the audience so they can see it.
I think there's a.
Okay. 2018?
Just like you said.
Or have Patrick do it.
I don't read that. Okay.
Yeah, I feel a whole lot better.
This,
He handed me that.
this is
Yeah, there you go.
December.
Did you guys see that?
Sent me this candidate this for the record.
Should I tilt it?
I don't read this, right?
I don't know if it's a record. This is a record. This is not the congressional record. Somebody,
That man just handed me this, do I read? What is this? Just
Nothing.
it's hot off the press. It's from 2018. What? This is not like the congressional record. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to enter my 47-page comments into the record.
I miss you, Randy. Oh, this one.
Oh, yeah.
Stephanie?
Yes.
It was here. Yeah, I wish, I can't find my mouse here. No, I was just wondering if you had an extra mouse.
Is your daughter graduating yet?
No, getting here tomorrow.
May 10th, very important day. My 37th wedding
Rising senior,
anniversary.
but she will be.
May 10th was my 37th wedding anniversary.
So I get her tomorrow.
Congratulations.
Then she will go down to Nashville.
You know, I worked, I started out at Cleary Gottlieb, and I had like 5 friends invited to my wedding.
Very cool friends in Nashville.
And I found out that they had a pool, how long it would take Robin to divorce.
They
Don't
lost.
worry about it.
Unless somebody spent 50 years.
I think somebody said 1 year, which,
So now she's with a publisher,
so what,
and she and her new
what, where's the ride plan?
No,
No.
this is when you park somewhere for a meeting and you put this in so you don't get a ticket.
Oh, okay.
and a jazz
We don't get tickets here.
drummer.
So, okay, great, thank you. Put this in the.
Are we ready to go?
What is happening? Interesting.
Why is this on?
We've got
It's too
Tommy on
weird.
2 screens.
Pardon?
We've got a car.
You want me to turn it off?
So what do you want? When is the HVAC getting done?
Well, lucky for us, Vic Federico was here, so he can tell us.
I think we're ready.
Paolo went out to get my reading glasses. I thought I had them in my bag. I need my reading glasses.
You gotta be like me, you have to have 3 pair on you at any given
I
time.
have sunglasses. My
I
good.
only have the one, I have some white ones.
I had 2 readers, so, you know, they're not prescription, so I just buy a bunch of them and make sure they're in like every room of
These
my
are
house.
prescription, and sometimes I still need them. On top of it.
Not easy.
We're ready?
We are ready, we're just waiting for Jack to count.
I may have to, I may have to unload my,
What's going on?
I'm looking for my reading glasses. And look what's in this pocket.
If I were sitting close, I'd say we could share.
I know, oh, wait.
Ah, God is
These
good.
are all ones that
There we
are
go.
good.
Okay.
Let me see, do they work? Yeah, they work.
Otherwise I would have run to the car and given you my bike.
What is my, guys, what is my
Sunglasses.
intention?
I had the big one.
Only mention
Yeah.
it to you.
Oh, gosh.
Randy,
Okay, good.
What?
and I want to do the first 2 public hearings, and I want to vote on those 2, and hold the 3rd one
Thank you,
public
dear.
hearing
You're the
open
best.
for the next meeting.
You didn't find the other color. Thank you.
Whatever it is.
Are we ready?
Look at Tommy, he looks like he's daydreaming.
Tommy's like.
I love that
they
background.
put me
I
in
know.
this corner.
I love that background.
Hi, Tom.
Can you hear us, Tom?
Three, two, one.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody, to the Rye Town Council meeting of May 16th, 2024. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Born and unborn.
Hope, please call the roll.
Councilperson Pamela Jaffe.
Here.
Councilperson Jill Axelrod.
Here.
Councilperson Thomas Nardi.
On video.
Okay. Councilperson Randy Sellier,
In the flesh.
and Supervisor Gary Zuckerman.
Present. Just to announce, Councilperson Nardi is appearing on video due to what we call extraordinary circumstances under the law. I hope he doesn't mind. I'll say he was exposed to COVID and so has decided to remain absent from the meeting for the benefit of all of us. First item is adoption of the minutes of April 18th. If there are no additions or corrections, may I have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Public hearing regarding local law number 1 of 2024 to amend local law number 2 of 2023 to establish and authorize a number of deputy town clerks appointed by the town. May I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just briefly, the local law was passed last year, and the County of Westchester Department of Human Resources advised us that they would like us to insert for purposes of their, what is it, the LJ3, Debbie? For
Yes.
which establishes the position at the, for the county, Part C that is added. The deputies of principal executive offices are authorized by law to act generally for and in place of their principals. Deputy town clerks will act generally for and in place of the town clerk on all matters. Otherwise, the local law is unchanged. Do we have any public comment on this? Anybody from the audience wish to speak on this matter? Anybody on Facebook or otherwise?
No comments on Facebook.
Okay. May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing is closed. I would like now to call the vote on this resolution. May I have a motion and a second on approving this local law number 1 of 2024 regarding the deputy town clerks?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Please call the roll, Hope.
Councilperson Jaffe,
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod, Councilperson Nardi,
Yes.
Councilperson Sellier,
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. Local law number 2 of 2024 to establish and authorize the number of deputy receivers of taxes appointed by the town. May I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, the public hearing, I think you're on a time delay, Tom.
That's not. This establishes an added deputy receiver of taxes to be appointed by the town. We currently have one official deputy receiver of taxes. The law permits the town to have a second deputy receiver of taxes and assessments, which is the official title. And due to the volume of work and also the potential retirement of our current receiver, we are seeking to have a second deputy available. When and if, hopefully, this position is approved, we will be canvassing for qualified individuals. The position requires certain skills and abilities, and the deputy receiver
will be needs to be a resident of the county of Westchester or an adjoining county, but not necessarily a resident of the town of Rye. We would expect that the receiver who makes this appointment, and this is an appointment of the receiver, not an appointment of the board, that preference would be given to residents of the town of Rye who are qualified. I really don't have anything else to say by way of introduction. Is there anybody in the audience who wishes to speak to this matter? Two people. Aldo, you were first. Please introduce yourself.
Aldo Vitaliano, 27 Elizabeth Street. I wonder if you can tell us what the skills are that are required of the candidate, so that the public might know that if they have to get on a
Yeah,
list for this or whatever.
Yeah, this will be an exempt position,
Okay.
so there will not be a list, but we will be canvassing. Desirable, and I'm taking this from the county HR description. Hope, did we get a chance to put this in?
It's on the,
Electronic agenda.
It's on the electronic agenda, and I think it may be handed out. Desire,
I have one set. Would you like to see it?
I can look at it.
okay. Desirable knowledge, skills, abilities, and attributes. Thorough knowledge of the procedures used in the collection of taxes and assessments and in keeping financial records. Ability to understand and carry out oral and written directions. Skill in the operation of adding and computing machines and other office equipment necessary to perform for the performance of the duties. Ability to explain and communicate information effectively, both orally and in writing. Ability to read, write, speak, understand, and communicate in English sufficiently to perform the essential duties of the position. Ability to effectively use computer applications such as spreadsheets, word processing, calendar, email, and database software. Reliability, resourcefulness, initiative, accuracy, ability to get along well with others, physical condition commensurate with the duties of the position, suggested applicable, acceptable training and experience, graduation from high school or possession of a high school equivalency diploma, and either 4 years of financial record-keeping experience or satisfactory completion of 60 college credits from a recognized college or university towards a bachelor's degree in accounting, finance, or business administration, or related field, and 2 years of financial record-keeping experience or a bachelor's degree from a recognized college or university in accounting, finance, business administration, or related field.
Thank you.
Richard Abel, Quintar Drive in Portchester. These two laws, the one for the deputy town clerk and a deputy receiver of taxes, are these paid positions?
Yes,
And they're not funded now? These are new positions that will increase the total payroll of the town?
no,
Because,
the clerk position's already been funded.
okay. What about the receiver of taxes?
The
position?
receiver of taxes is not specifically funded, but there's money in the budget that has not been used on other personnel matters that will be used to fund it for the remainder of the year, and the position will be funded in the next budget, fully funded.
And who determines the funding amount for that position? This board?
Yeah,
Okay.
in the budget.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is,
it's just,
yeah, specifically both the clerk position and the deputy clerk and deputy receiver position are funded, as are all the positions, by the town board through the budget. The appointing authority for the deputy clerk is the clerk, and the appointing authority for the deputy receiver is the receiver,
both elected positions.
both elected positions.
Okay, that's all, thank you.
That is correct. Is there any comments on Facebook or Zoom?
No comments on Facebook. I can ask Stephanie if she sees any comments on Zoom.
May I just?
No
inquire-
comments.
Okay, inquiry on the residency requirement, is
Yeah.
that standard? That they do not, that they need to live in the county or adjoining county, but not in
It's
the
up,
town?
it's up to the, it's up to the board to determine. As far as elected positions go, elected position must be a resident of the town. Appointed positions, it's up to the town board to modify municipal law to establish residency. Some town boards have established residency, for example, within the state of New York. This proposal is residency within Westchester or an adjoining county, for example, Putnam County, so that they would be reasonably familiar with the area. This enables us to cast a wider net for qualified individuals rather than being limited to the town of Rye. If it's an elected position, it has to be within the town of Rye.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else from the board? No? May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution to approve local law number 2 regarding deputy receiver of taxes. May I have a motion and a second?
I'll second.
Hope, please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi? Councilperson Selyer?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. Tommy, did you vote?
I read his lips.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I was on mute. Sorry about that. Yes.
Okay. Local law number 3 of 2024 to change the elected office of receiver of taxes and assessments to an appointed office of receiver of taxes and assessments. The draft of this law was circulated last month. The only change since that time has been a change in the effective date. Originally, it would have been effective as of January 1, 2025, and currently it will be effective January 1, 2028, which is the date, actually December 31st is the date when the current Office of Receiver of Taxes expires. So just to make very, very clear that this is not an attempt to in any way undercut our current receiver of taxes, although it would have been my intention, should this pass, to have reappointed him should he desire. But this way, it will be taking effect in the term of the current receiver ends December 31st, 2027, and this would take effect on January 1st, 2028. May I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is open. I am sure that there are comments. Aldo?
Aldo Vitaliano, 27 Elizabeth Street. Just note my opposition to what you're trying to do for it. I believe the position should remain an elected position as it has been for it. My primary concern tonight is there's no requirement for residency from the way I read what I've been looking at. I think there should be a residency requirement for such an important position for it. So that's my comments on it. I think that if we look at our positions here, I'm sure there's plenty of qualified people within our community that could serve in any of these positions. We've already offloaded several positions to non-residents, very high-level positions for it, and that capital should be staying in our community and not going to other communities. So adding another position, high-level position, to fund where someone doesn't choose to reside in our community is something I just don't think is correct. When I took the position of deputy town attorney and town attorney, I had a residency requirement at that time. I was required to be here. I stayed. I would hope anybody who takes these type positions would stay. I would hope any deputy receiver of taxes who was appointed as receiver of taxes would choose to move into our community. It's a great community, and I think we should honor it that way. But thank you.
Richard Abel again, 19 Quintar Drive in Portchester, and a proud resident of Rye-Town. I just find this interesting, and I'll sort of agree with Aldo on his comments, but why should we take an elected position with a local residency requirement, obviously elected, you have to be a resident to run, and make it an appointed position? Appointed means that you five get to make that decision, not the people of the town. Where on an elected position, the people get to vote who they want as, just like you five were elected by the people. Now, the argument is, well, you have to have certain requirements. Well, do you have any requirements to be an elected position to represent us? Sorta. The people made that decision whether you were good enough to serve. And I think that whether receiver of taxes or the town clerk, the more elected positions that the people get to vote on, the better. The more appointed positions is just a power grab, I guess you'd say, where it gives more power to you to have a patronage job that you could hand out immaterial of requirements. I've been watching government almost my whole life, and patronage jobs are the worst thing around. At least, I know what I want to say. I don't know how many of you remember Bruno Joffrey, who was a judge in the town for decades. And I remember going up to him and asking him, I said, which is better, an elected judge or an appointed judge? Because Portchester at that time had appointed judges. And he said,
They still do.
what? There are no appointed judges.
Well, the last judges were appointed.
Yes,
when they had
but
judges.
they're now elected. Okay, but that's not my point. My point being, he said, the advantage of the elected system, being elected judge, is that at least the people can throw out that person, not just the board members. So and just so you know, this has been tested before 10 years ago, and it failed. Okay, so I just think that I don't know if it costs any money to put a referendum on the ballot, but I think this is a waste of money, and I really think that elected positions are just better. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the, on Facebook or on Zoom?
Nope, no comments.
All right. I just want to address a couple of things. Why are we doing this? First of all, the position of receiver of taxes, and otherwise, I would agree with the comments made regarding elected officials in policy positions. The receiver of taxes is not a policy position. The description in the Westchester County Department of Human Resources calls it, this is an important administrative position. It's administrative, it's operational. The receiver of taxes does not have the independent authority to make policy. Policy is reserved for the elected council. I think that's an important distinction. And I think Aldo mentioned the fact that people should be found within the town of Rye, and I happen to agree. If we have qualified people, I agree. And that's why it's not open to people, for example, from the entire state of New York, but within the region. And the choice is made by the receiver of taxes. And I'm sure that preference will be, I'm talking for the deputy, and I'm sure that for the council, preference will be given to residents of the town, all things being equal. As far as voting, number one, the board 10 years ago, as Richard pointed out, voted to make the position appointed. That was basically an all-Republican town board. And Tom Nardi, who's a Democrat, voted against it. I don't know what's changed in terms of the politics from then till now, but if this board should pass it, it will go to the people. So the people will have a say. And basically, the arguments that have been put forward by the two of you will be weighed against other arguments. I personally believe, and that's why I brought it forward, that as an administrative position and a complicated position, more complicated than just receiving taxes and spending taxes, there are a lot of reports, there are a lot of intermediary steps, there are different kinds of trying to find the word, exemptions. There are different kinds of exemptions, senior exemptions, veterans exemptions, that all have to be dealt with. It's not a simple position, and it's recognized as not being a simple position. And as far as the people choosing, let's talk realistic. On the one hand, you would have an elected board choosing an administrative position. On the other hand, who chooses the people to run for the election? Well, in our system, it's the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Generally, the chairman of each party would have a large say in who the candidates are. I mean, that's just realism, okay? And I understand that most political parties, in and of themselves, would naturally oppose the removal from their choice of picking candidates. But I'm saying that's the realism. And if this board should pass this resolution, this local law, then the people will choose which view they want to have. I'm not, I think it should be an appointed position with a qualified individual. And I would hope that if it turns out to remain an elected position, when the time comes, the next receiver will be a qualified person chosen by however the choice is made. But I feel strongly that we should give it a chance and let the people decide the direction they go. I don't want to say I don't have a dog in the fight, but what I do have, I do have an opinion, and I hope the board will agree with me, and if they don't, then they don't. Life will go on. I think this is the best way that it should be handled. And with that, I'm not going to close the public hearing. We will do that at the next meeting and vote at the next meeting, either up or down. So I'd like a motion to continue the public hearing until the next meeting, which is June 20th.
I think Tommy and I both
Yeah.
have.
Yeah, I'd like to, I have a email that I got from Phil DeRazio, that Phil's out of town. And he really wanted to go on the record on something. He said, I sent the email out to the whole council. So I just want to make sure that it's okay that I read this email.
I don't know if you need to read it. We'll make it part of the record. You can read it if you'd like to.
I'd like to hear it.
Well, I know
Okay.
he wanted me to read it, so, because Phil, I know Phil, and
Did Phil want you to read it or submit
he,
it?
okay. It says, "Good evening, Supervisor Zuckerman and members of the council. I am asking council minority to read into the record my statement expressing my opposition and concern regarding changing the receiver of taxes position to an elected position, from elected position to an appointed position. By modifying this position into appointed one, I believe this action will silence the voices of our residents and eliminate their right to elect a local representative. This change could create an opportunity for such an appointment to be a product of cronyism and nepotism, depending on the majority of the presiding town board at any such time this appointment will be made. Although I am not excusing the sitting board of being nefarious in the process, the opportunity for the best transparency will be achieved by maintaining the integrity of the public election. I strongly urge the town of Rye to reconsider this action. Thank you for your consideration on this matter. Phil DeRazio, Deputy Mayor of Village of Portchester.
Thank you, Tom.
And I also
Thank
have.
you.
You got a letter from Rick Busen.
I have a letter from Rick Busen that he asked me to make as his public comment. So, hello, Madam Councilwoman. As I will be out of town on Thursday, here is my public comment regarding making the receiver of taxes position appointed. Everything points to a much simpler and less controversial way to solve the perceived problem that exists. Pass a resolution making the deputy receiver a new appointed position and leave the receiver of taxes elected. At a time when loyal Democrats like us are worried about a threat to democracy, how in good conscience can the board take away the voters' right to choose? Thank you, Rick Busen, Rybrook.
Thank you. We have a letter also from the Village of Portchester, requested to be read at tonight's meeting. I have it on my phone. Do you have the hard copy? Do you want to read the hard copy? Read it into record? Thank you.
Okay, Justice Supervisor Zuckerman, it has come to our attention that the town of Rye is contemplating a referendum in the near future on transforming the positions of the town's receiver of taxes from a duly elected official into operational appointment of the town board. Our understanding is that in light of a pending retirement, the motion to consider such a policy change may seem favorable as it could immediately mitigate contingency and continuity concerns within the town's administrative operation. However, after hearing that such a referendum may be considered, and in speaking with village residents who have expressed similar reservations to ours about such a change, the undersigned wish to express to you and your board a reservation, trepidation, and hope that time still remains for you to reconsider exploring this option. Although a referendum initially grants voters an opportunity to express support or opposition to such a proposal, once adopted, this new practice allowing for the receiver of taxes and the town clerk to be appointed by the Rye Town Board would remove our voters and their will from the process. We thank you in advance for your attention and consideration of our position. Respectfully submitted by the Mayor, Luis Marino, and the Portchester Board of Village Trustees.
Thank you, Hope. I would like to point out that the letter mentions the receiver of taxes and the town clerk to be appointed. That is not accurate. The town clerk's position is not being considered at this particular time. And this is a letter from the mayor. I am not aware that there was a vote or a resolution passed at an open meeting regarding this. However, we will take that as an expression of Mayor Marino's view and those of at least some of the trustees.
Excuse me, Gary, I have one more thing. If we're gonna be voting on this next month, I'd like to either make it the week before or the week after, because I'm gonna be in California on the 20th, and I really want to be able to vote on this.
Same, my son's graduating on the 20th. So if we can adjust the meeting, it would help.
Well, we could send out a notice. We'll have to pick a date. I don't want to do that at this particular time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay?
I'm just, because I really like, and I know, like Pam and I, we're not gonna be around, so it's a very important decision, and for two council people not to be able to show, I really think we should move the date.
Okay. Not a problem. We'll find another date and give public notice.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gary.
Appreciate that.
No problem. Motion to adjourn the meeting to June 20th or such other date as the council shall designate upon appropriate notice.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Our next item. We're up to, presentation. I thought it was there. Presentation by Planned Parenthood. Are we ready for that?
Lisa, are you there?
I am here.
Very good. All right, it would be great if you can share your screen with your presentation.
Can you see my screen?
Nope.
We can see you. You come on fine.
We don't see your screen.
Are you seeing it now?
Yes, we see it now.
Ah, perfect. Sorry. So I just want to say thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share with you our mobile health center. So this is a very exciting initiative for Planned Parenthood Hudson Peconic, and it's going to allow us to reach our patients in new ways and provide our communities with services they may not otherwise receive. So I just want to, let's see if I can advance this. So I just put together a couple of photos so y'all could see what it looks like. So here is a picture of the exterior, and here's another picture here that shows it's handicap accessible. It actually has 2 full exam rooms. I have a couple of pictures of the inside. Yeah, so let's see that. And then I just have a copy of our flyer which talks about the different services we can provide in the mobile health center. You know, our goal is for this to be just like any of our other brick and mortar centers and kind of meeting the patients where they need us. And so we've been working with a lot of different community partners to to plan and have the van in different places. I don't know if anyone has any questions or.
Questions from the board?
Just for everyone's reference, can we just get some background on this?
So the suggestion was that this was a brand new service that, in terms of the mobile unit that would provide women's health care, and the concept would be that the van would be invited to park at Crawford Park in an appropriate parking place, perhaps one or more times in the season, and offer services to anyone who comes, and I understand on a sliding scale, so based on their ability to pay.
And Lisa, what are the typical services that you provide, and how many local townships and communities does the van visit?
So this is actually new to us, right? We've had a Smart Wheels van before that did not have exam rooms. We weren't able to do full exams, but now with this mobile health unit with 2 full exam rooms, we're really able to do almost all of our services. We've been doing, we have one out in Suffolk County that's been going out already, and this one is just going out now. Well, we can do annual well exams. We've been doing pap smears for people who, otherwise have not had one in many, many years. We can do STI screenings, treatment. Just about any of our services.
All right. Jill, anything? Randy? Okay, and how often would this come to the town? Do you have any idea?
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
I said, how often would you suggest?
We would really, as much as you would want us to, we can set some dates up throughout the summer, or if there are events going on, we're really available almost any day that, we're not scheduled somewhere else. So we would love to come out, if we could do once a month or something like that, that would be wonderful.
All right.
Lisa, at some point you also mentioned that you offer educational programming. Can you speak to that, please?
Yep, we have an education department that can go out and offer education services. We do that with a lot of our different community partners. They go into schools, they go into different things, and they do education with teens. They do education for parents in how to speak to teens about different things. They have many, many topics. And, certainly we could do a combination where we would have the ability to do some education while we're there, as well as offer medical services.
Thank you. You have something, Aldo?
Yes.
Would you like to speak?
I would love to speak for it. You asked if there were any questions or comments. You said you're offering typical services for it, or atypical services. Does that include ultrasounds?
We can do ultrasounds, yep. We have portable ultrasound machines.
So you're going to be HIPAA compliant?
What, I'm sorry?
You're going to be HIPAA compliant with this
Of course, yes.
service that you'll have,
Yep.
privacy?
Yes, of course, yep.
You offer educational services. Is that going to include gender dysphoria services or education regarding that?
We do offer gender affirming care services.
So will that be
yes.
will that be in the van that you're sending around, and will you be dispensing pharmaceuticals from that van? That's two questions.
We can, yep, we can offer that service, and yes, we can provide birth control, yep. And some basic medication.
Puberty
yes.
blockers?
The what? I'm sorry.
Puberty blockers?
We don't do puberty blocking, no.
Do you prescribe progesterone to reverse abortion for people who may want to change their mind?
We do not do that, no.
Okay. For it. I have a question for how this presentation was scheduled for, since the board sets policy. Was this organization invited in? Did they choose to come in? Because there's another organization that will be setting up ultrasounds outside of abortion clinics, and I'm sure they'd be delighted to come in and find out how they can offer their services to the town of Rye, in addition to just doing it outside of Planned Parenthood in White Plains. So I'd like to know what the parameters are for a presentation to be made by another organization. How did this come about?
Any organization can approach us with a request. It's up to the board to decide which request that they would honor.
So at which meeting did the board decide this request for the presentation?
The board doesn't have to decide on presentations. Okay.
So is there a FOIL request that I can make to find out what the requests look like?
You can always do a FOIL.
Okay. I will do a FOIL. Thank you.
Anything else? No. Thank you, Lisa.
Is this going to be done? I'd like to.
What? I'm sorry.
Is this presentation finished?
Yes.
I would like to see.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you so much.
My first name is Deirdre. My last name is Curran. I live at 2 Village Green in Portchester, and I stand here as a Catholic, and I am fully supportive of Planned Parenthood and their mission and everything that they do to help women with good quality medical care that they might not be able to afford anywhere else. They've helped myself and my friends over the years with routine things like pap smears and mammograms that have helped keep me healthy. They do a lot more than abortion. I noticed certain people in the parking lot when I was walking my dog, and I went and bought dog food and came back so I could come to the meeting. The one thing, I think this is a great idea. The one thing I would say, listening to this, is I'm not sure Crawford Park is the right place to do this because there's no public transportation for people to get here. And the most likely people that would want to avail themselves of these services might not be able to get here. And I think you might want to discuss with them finding a different location within the town of Rye that would be easier for people to get to. That's the only thing I don't think is a great idea. It's a great idea, but I don't know that the people that need this service would be able to get here because they probably don't have cars and there's no bus. So, and I will be going home because of people in this room donating $2,000 to Planned Parenthood tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Deirdre.
Thank you, Deirdre. Nice seeing you again. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, well, everything's been good, but I have to take my dog home with you. Good night.
Good night. Next item. Yeah, let's do the, did you speak to Chris?
Yes. So, this next item is a resolution in which the town of Rye will acknowledge, support, and recognize the Portchester Rye Brook EMS and 2024 National EMS Week. So in brief, there's a lot in this resolution. I believe the most important things to stress, first and foremost, is that we will be supporting the proposal to recognize emergency medical service personnel, actually the service as an essential service. What that means, and it was shocking to me to learn that EMS workers are not considered essential personnel, which means they're not eligible for the benefits that other emergency medical service personnel are eligible for. And it becomes an enormous hardship for those people who are paramedics and otherwise staff the ambulances that provide vital emergency health care to our residents to be able to remain in their jobs. So one of the first points of this resolution is that we support the passage of a New York State law in which emergency medical service is established as an emergency service. Other than that, we have about to begin the EMS week, which starts May 19th and runs through May 25th. We'd like to recognize that, and also 2024 happens to be the 50th anniversary of EMS week. So we are also acknowledging that. And I would say also that I understand the Village of Rye Brook is organizing a thank you lunch for our local Brook EMS next week, and the town of Rye will be providing food along with it. So we'll be showing our support. So I ask for the town council to consider this resolution.
Thank you. First of all, I know that Chris Bradbury, the Rybrook administrator, is heavily involved with the EMS on the Westchester and state level, and that the Westchester Municipal Officials Association has also taken a stand and supports this as an organization. And I believe that most of the towns and villages and cities are also passing resolutions in support, because this has to be passed by the state of New York to declare our emergency service workers as essential workers to get the benefits that they deserve. So with that, may I have a motion and a second?
I'll make the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, Tom. Jill seconds. Okay,
Sorry.
all right. And are there any other comments before we vote?
Thank you for bringing this up. EMS provide a vital service, and I think we spoke to an EMS group maybe 2 years ago at this point about this very situation. So I appreciate you bringing it and making it part and parcel of our body of legislation.
Call the vote, please.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Definitely yes.
Councilperson Selyer? And Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. Next resolution is regarding senior student Ian Goldfeld to perform community service as part of the Senior Options Program. Do you want to tell us what this is about, Deb?
Yes, Ian Goldfeld, recommended, I believe, by Pam Jaffe, is required to conduct some community service before he graduates from Brook High School. He interviewed with our town clerk, Hope Vespia, and they identified a wonderful project for him. He does not receive any compensation other than the credit of doing the community service, and therefore, in order to make sure that he's covered by our insurance when he's working in the town of Rye, we are recommending that we deem him an official volunteer to the town of Rye.
Thank you. Motion and a second?
So moved.
I'll second.
You can do this by voice vote. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Hopi. He's a great young man.
He started today, he was great.
Non-pro-tongue.
The Town of Rye declaring May as Jewish American Heritage Month. I'll just read the resolved. This is something, a proclamation that is being approved by most of the towns in the county of Westchester, and I'm not sure, I think doesn't the county recognize May as Jewish American Heritage Month? Yes. I asked Jill because she works for the county. She's our county knowledge person.
Yeah, at the May 20th meeting at 7 p.m., there'll be a recognition of certain individuals for Jewish heritage. If anyone cares to attend or watch online.
Motion and a second.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any further comment from any of the members?
I would like to say I'm an incredibly proud Jewish American myself. I think the unparalleled level of hatred against Jews that is currently going on in our country and in the world is abhorrent. And any step that we can take from the smallest resolution from a small community, I think there is power in people standing up and saying that something that is wrong is wrong. I see people here tonight advocating for what they think is wrong, and I only wish more people would stand up and say, this is wrong. So if this is one thing that I can do, I'm very happy to do it.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi? Councilperson
Yes,
Selyer?
I'm sorry.
And Supervisor?
Yes.
Nardi, right?
Yes, thank you. This next proclamation, International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, working definition of anti-Semitism. This, I believe, something similar to this actually passed the House of Representatives. And I know for a fact that the last resolution and this resolution have been passed by many of the town boards in the county of Westchester. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically it echoes what Jill just said. There is a rise, a very frightening rise in anti-Semitism in this country and around the world. And one of the things that this resolution cites is something called the 11 Contemporary Examples of Anti-Semitism as a tool to address it, things that you might not even think of. And they're listed as part of the resolution. It's an addenda to the resolution and is incorporated. I'm going to echo what Jill said in a slightly different way, something that I try to live by, and that is the only thing for evil to succeed is for good people to remain silent. And when we see things that we believe are wrong, we need to stand up. We can't shirk our duty out of fear, and we need to stand up and be counted. And it doesn't matter what the issue is. If you believe in something, and I know that there are people in this room tonight, as Jill has mentioned, who don't necessarily agree with me on a certain issue that occurred earlier, but the fact is they believe what they believe and they stand up for it. And we need to stand up for what we believe, no matter what it is. Hopefully it's something that is a beneficial value for all people. Certainly standing up against hate. Tonight, we're talking about anti-Semitism. Previously, we've passed resolutions regarding other things regarding hate-filled speech and actions. And this is something that we as a town and as a board stand up for. So, did we have a motion and a second yet, Hope?
I'll make the motion.
Second, please.
I can second.
Thank you. Hope, please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod? Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer? And Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. Next resolution is town approving a donation of $5,000 towards the 4th of July festivities in the village of Portchester. Tommy, do you want to speak about this?
Can you hear us?
Okay. He's That's okay. This is something we do every year. The Village of Portchester requests the Town of Rye to approve a donation towards the Portchester July 4th festivities, which take place at the Portchester High School And this is in our budget every year. May I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Hope, please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. Our next resolution is a bond resolution authorizing the issuance of up to $191,465 aggregate principal amount of serial bonds, and this is to finance the town of Rye's share of reconstruction of facilities at Rye Town Park. Does anybody have a question about this?
Is that the bathroom? Is that the bathrooms?
No, that's stuff that was basically over, I don't know if it's the bathroom. Debbie, what?
It's the beach level
The beach
bathroom
level.
and the pavilion roof, re-roofing project.
Right, that was approved at the bids.
Okay.
And this bridges the gap between any grants and funding?
Yes.
Okay.
A motion and a second? Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. Our next several resolutions are tax cert resolutions. Charlie, you want to take over?
Good evening. First resolution we have here is for the PRB Real Estate Holdings. This is a small converted residence, which is now offices. We had 4 years at stake, 2021, 22, and 23. We've spoken to the school and the village in regards to this in our biannual meeting. School refund will be approximately $21,000, the village at approximately $11,000, and the town's refund will be approximately $530 on this one.
Okay. Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
If there's any further discussion, if not, please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. The next one is 400 North Main Street, Charlie.
400 North Main, this is the Alba's Restaurant in Portchester. 4 years at stake, 20 through 23. Obviously, the same thing, we've spoken to the school district and the village in regards to this. The school refund will be approximately $11,000, the village approximately $5,400, and the town's refund will be approximately $240.
Thank you. Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please, Hope.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yeah.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. The next two, Charlie, are both the Mariner.
The Mariner Apartment Building. This is for years 21, 22, 23. 21 and 22 were withdrawn. There's no refund for the village or the school on this. It's just a town refund of approximately $1,680.
And there's two resolutions on that
Oh,
one. Do you want to?
yeah, there was a second, all right, the second
Well, we'll do
resolution.
one at a time.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second. Let Randy have it.
Please call the roll, Hope.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yep.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. Mariner 2.
All right, this is just for a single year. This is for the 2020 year. That was also withdrawn. There's no refunds, obviously.
That's the best news.
I would agree.
Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer? And Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. And that completes our resolutions. Reports. Oh, no, let's say, comments. Comments from the public. Are there any comments on non-agenda items?
There have been no comments on Facebook and none on Zoom.
Aldo?
Aldo Italiano, 27 Elizabeth Street in Westchester. I would assume I could have spoken on agenda items, but I'll just speak with non-agenda items.
Well, you did speak on agenda items.
I understand, but there's more things coming. There may be other comments I might have for it. I think it
Now's
should be
the time.
comments from the public. But anyway, I got to the meeting early. I was parked down below, and I put a couple signs on my windshield coming in, and I was asked to remove them by park personnel as being inappropriate. So to the extent I could easily expect that there might be picketing in connection with the presentation that we saw where the town decided to move forward, what is the policy that the town has relative to free speech or political speech within Crawford Park? And what was inappropriate about just having signs on my windshield?
Aldo, I have no idea, because I don't know why the signs were removed, and obviously,
They were removed because I removed them and I complied with.
I don't know why you were asked to remove them, okay? Peaceful protest is always permitted.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It's public property.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, what are the rules for public speaking?
If you have a comment on any item on the agenda, this is you wish to speak on an item, feel free.
One, we'll see if $2,000 ever gets to Planned Parenthood. Item 2, Planned Parenthood does not do mammograms, and they sure as hell aren't going to do mammograms in that truck that they drive around. Number 3, Planned Parenthood was founded by a racist and a eugenicist, so much so they even removed her name from their flagship abortion mill in New York City. Margaret Sanger has been removed from that abortion mill. She was a eugenicist. She participated in Ku Klux Klan rallies. She referred to blacks and some of your largest ethnic groups in your town as human weeds. I don't know what a human weed is, but as human weeds. This is the founder of Planned Parenthood. In following this for the last 50 years of my life in this county, I have watched them butcher innumerable women, including the tens of thousands of children. And I've seen them cover up those incidents by having the woman who was butchered come back to them as opposed to going to the emergency room where she could have gone. Thus, the statistics regarding those complications were never recorded under New York state law. It's also interesting how petty they are because of their problems in management in this state. Greater New York Planned Parenthood was supposed to take over Hudson Peconic. Hudson Peconic Planned Parenthood is Westchester Planned Parenthood, Putnam Planned Parenthood, Rockland Planned Parenthood, and the Peconic is Suffolk County. So they cover basically a population of roughly 2.75, maybe 2,750,000 people, Hudson Peconic. They were supposed to join with Greater New York Planned Parenthood, which was to take New York City all the way up to Rochester. The reason they did not join Greater New York Planned Parenthood is because the chief executive officer of Planned Parenthood, Hudson Peconic, got paid at least $150,000 more than the woman who was running Greater New York Planned Parenthood. That's why they're still separate to this day. In addition to...
Excuse me one thing. Did you introduce yourself by name? I don't.
My name is Ed Riley.
Thank you, Mr. Riley. Could you limit your comments to 4 or 5 minutes, please?
I sure can.
Thank you.
Right, how many minutes do you usually give somebody, 3 or 5?
Usually, nobody comes here and talks. They're very brief. So
I was going to say,
just try
quite
to
frankly, I
limit
was
yourself.
surprised about the jurisdiction of this town. I used to work in the city of Rye, and then when the city of Rye Brook sort of did a midnight withdrawal from the town of Rye, I'm saying, I'm glad they have a nice town hall, and I know they have a good park, but, so, live and learn. One of the most dramatic incidents that I had personally with Planned Parenthood, because I had to find a lawyer for this girl, and we're looking for lawsuits, is a girl was referred to them, 16-year-old girl, from the nearby Connecticut school district, from the Greenwich school district. I think there's one before that. She was referred across the state line by the school nurse. Think about that, across the state line. Went to Planned Parenthood in Greenberg. In the process, she was butchered by that Planned Parenthood, because in this state, you don't have to tell your parents about an abortion. She wound up in a White Plains hospital, not once, twice. And then when she came out, Planned Parenthood visited the house. How do I know this? I helped get her a lawyer. Visited the house and tried to bribe the parents in not pursuing a lawsuit against Planned Parenthood. We did eventually get her a lawyer, and we tried to get the venue changed into Bronx, where she could get a possibility of winning a lawsuit, whereas in Westchester it's extremely difficult to win against Planned Parenthood. But on a subsequent case of a botched abortion, we managed to win the case using Grace and Grace out of Yorktown, and I'm almost finished, which was the first time Planned Parenthood has ever been beaten in a Westchester court. And we looked forward to doing that again and again, especially if they do mammograms, which they're not equipped for. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Riley. Reports, the assessor?
You have another comment?
Oh, I'm sorry. Richard?
Just a suggestion. In the future, when you plan your meetings, especially this time of the year, obviously June 20th is the Blind Brook High School graduation. So I don't know if any of you have kids at the Blind Brook schools, but to me that is a bad date, and you should check with other, other municipalities or other governments as to whether they have anything.
I let him know. Believe
What?
me. I'm not going to miss Will's big day.
Conversation.
Okay, but I'm just saying that, and also, I mean, it's a minor thing, but on my drive up here, I noticed there's a big sign that says that Crawford Park closes at dusk. I guess it's almost dusk. So would that make this meeting terminate? Or nobody could come into the park at dusk to come?
Not only that, you turn into a pumpkin.
Yes, well, I'm just saying, it's a minor thing, but to me, that would be, if you were driving here to come to this meeting, and it was getting later, especially in the winter, then you couldn't, ideally, you wouldn't want to be here. You shouldn't be here because the park closes at dusk. So I would just make a minor suggestion that you put except for or whatever, because I think this building is in the park and is part of the park. So
I don't know if it's, technically, it's in the park, but I think that anybody who reads that sign would hopefully know that it applies to people being in the park.
Even if there was one person that's not as smart as you, Gary, and gets turned away by that, that's a problem. And it's up to government to make sure that there is nothing like that, just like having a meeting on the same day as the Blind Brook graduation. So I'm just pointing that out. Thank you.
Technically, that sign has been on the gate leading into the park for at least as long as I've been in tenure here. I know I had brought up the dusk commentary at meetings simply because we do have cars that will come and they plug into the electrical voltage and then they leave their cars here overnight. And that just, to me, seemed like a liability issue for them and the town. So,
I understand that, but the other complication is a public meeting, okay? And if you turn away anybody for any reason, that's really wrong. And so change
Well,
the.
I want to argue about this.
Okay, it's a
Turning,
minor thing.
nobody's turning, Richard, nobody's turning away anybody. The sign is an indication that people shouldn't be here at night. If it's worded incorrectly, we'll look at it.
Okay, I told you it was a minor thing, but
it's okay.
It's perception. And sometimes government is too close to the situation, doesn't see it from the outside. So, thank you.
Yes,
Great.
the look I just got from you. No, I
No,
mean,
that wasn't the look.
Maybe you and,
Okay,
if
let's,
there's a meeting, the sign could be covered.
I mean, we do have a lot of after dark activities here. We have movie nights and bands, and we do like the nighttime.
Well, maybe the understanding is the park refers to the recreational aspects of the park.
we
and
don't
not the
want,
common
we don't,
usage.
basically, I don't think we want residents coming here at 8 o'clock at night, playing soccer and putting up lights and doing things like that, okay?
That's
Okay,
absolutely
you
true.
know-
It's a matter of public safety.
It's a public safety
Um,
issue, that's
yes.
all.
And this has been a practice of the town of Rye. We didn't create a brand-new policy. This is a policy that was in existence and practiced in 2016, and basically until literally the gate broke. So now the gate is fixed. The sign is there so that everyone understands that unless there is an activity or an event going on at the park, that is our responsibility to maintain the public safety, so the gate closes.
That's fine, whatever you think.
Good explanation, Deb.
You know,
Can we move on,
even
please?
Even Lions Park has, park closes at dusk, and they have events also that go on at night. So, you know, it's just, basically, it's just common
But
sense. If you're
Richard
there
is
at an
here
event,
complaining,
the event's
Richard is
carrying
here
on.
complaining
Why
about
does
us,
that
not
go on?
Portchester.
Right, it's common usage, but yes.
You know,
Can we move on, please? Assessors report.
yeah, move on.
I know you have a lot to say about the upcoming,
Tentative assessment roll, that's what I'm up here to talk about. Just want to do a reminder for all the homeowners and business owners, we're sending out our change of assessment notices on June 1st. Tentative assessment roll will be on the town's website. If you have any issues, once you get your notice or as you see the tentative value, stop in the office, we'd be happy to talk to you. Grievance applications are on the town's website, we have them in the office. If you have any questions, just stop in. Grievance day will be, as always, the third Tuesday in June, which is, this year will be June 18th. If you want, you can call ahead to schedule a time for you to come in. We'd be happy to take it. And like I just said, if you have any questions, everything's on the website, or you'd be happy to give us a call in the office and we'll be able to guide you through filling out the application. That's it for today.
thank you. Financial, David, anything?
No, just report submitted.
Okay, thank you. Vic, Director of Parks and Facilities, are you about?
Just filling up the candy dish.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Vic Federico, Director of Grounds and Facilities. Deb, do we have did Carissa, was she able to have the drone put on?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay,
We're gonna have the field?
yes.
All right.
Press the forward, yeah, there we are. So what we're looking at is drone footage that was taken by our contractor of our newly completed ball field that is largely funded by a low-cap grant provided for us by the New York State Senate and Senator Shelley Mayer.
There were also 5 pictures, I believe. That was one of them. That's 2. There you go.
Next. There we are. Before and after.
Yes. Oh. That's coming up. There should be 2 more. Yeah. Maybe not there. Yeah, there were 2 more of, yeah, there was 1 more also. There we go. Yep. This way you get to see how it unveiled slowly, and a lot of effort put into this.
It was done very quickly, actually.
It was. Once the weather opened up and they were able to get the machinery in there, it went very quick. Okay, thank you.
And this is a grass field.
Yes.
Yes, there's fencing around.
Yes, the fencing will stay around until about August. We got to allow for the sod to take. You know, the sod doesn't rip into the ground. It's, yeah, okay. We're just waiting on one minor thing, the electrician to come tomorrow. And this way, we're right now doing the sprinkling system by extension cord. So, besides that, it will be right around August that we will take the fence down. As the grass grows, of course, we'll go in and cut it. We'll cut it high, and we'll keep it high for a while. And in the fall, once the kids start playing on it and all the 5 to 6 days a week it's run on. In November, we will aerate it, seed it, fertilize it, and get it ready for the next year. And hopefully keep it as green as it is.
It looks beautiful.
Yes. Oh, and the plumber was here today. That's for the water fountain.
All right, great.
Otherwise, Saturday we have Color Blast. Pam, you going to be here?
I'll be driving back from Maine.
Okay.
Scott will be here.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, Color Blast from 11 to 1. Sunday, of course, is the festival, the Worcester.
Yeah, we can bring that up. So the town of Rye is going to be participating in the first Community Resource Day organized by the Village of Portchester and the, thank you. Thank you. That's on Sunday, between 11 and 3. And the weather's supposed to be good, so we will be right across from Walgreens on Addy Street with our booth that we just saw the picture of. You can recognize us. Right, is everyone still up? Is there a picture? I'm gonna let you do it, because I don't know what I'm doing.
That picture begs a question. Are we doing the free bus between downtown Portchester and the park this summer?
We don't know if the county is doing it. Well, that was last year. That was
Yes.
at the,
Right. So this is what our booth is going to look like, pretty close to it. So anyone is listening to this, come on down and visit us. We'll have all kinds of members of our town staff available to talk about services provided to the community, and specifically to the Spanish-speaking community. Pardon? Oh, and especially park permits. And then, of course, on Saturday is the I-Town Park Annual Community Conversation. So please come to Rytown Park. Our meeting is from 10 to noon in the pavilion at Rytown Park. We'll be streaming it on, live streaming it on Facebook and the usual channels. And if the villages cooperate, it will be also on public access television.
Yes. One other thing, on June 1st, we have the Portchester Arts Festival here. For the first time, it's their second year running this festival, and they're pretty much using the whole property. So it's running from 9 in the morning and will end with a theater group from 6 to 8. Lawn Chair Theater will be doing a play they're doing in Connecticut right now. I don't remember what the name of it is, but they finish up the day for the Portchester Arts Festival. That's about all I have.
Thank you, Vic.
You're welcome.
Well done. Jeff, do you have anything, Town Attorney? Nope. Nick? Nick Mecca?
Yes, good evening. Good evening, Mr. Supervisor, members of the Town Council. Very happy to report that county and town collections were very brisk. We have our county payment, it's due next week, of $19.7 million in the bank, and we have a nice reserve beyond that. However, there are 400 that have not paid. So as customary, on the 15th, which was yesterday, I mailed out notices reminding those folks that their county and town taxes due. Also, I sent out letters. Come July 31st, 2023 taxes, if you still haven't paid, whatever tax it is, becomes due. If it's not paid on that date, it's flagged as a year old and becomes a lien. So those people have been made aware of that, and hopefully they'll look into it. By the time we meet next month, the village bills will already be out. So the year goes by pretty fast, and once you start getting a little behind on taxes, it can be hard to make up. So if you can keep abreast, it's very good. Any questions for me?
Nope, not for me. Anybody?
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Town clerk's report is submitted. Does anybody have anything to add or comment on before we adjourn?
Just going to add that we do have other festivities coming out on June 1st down at Rytown Park, starting at 4:30. We're going to have a Pride Festival, followed by our typical march down the boardwalk, and then Pride in Rye, working with the Barley Beach House, is going to sponsor kind of an after party on the beach for people who are participating. So we're looking forward to a really fun day across the township.
Thank you, Pam. Joe, anything? Randy? Everybody's silent. Okay. I just want to thank you. I think this was a very good and productive meeting. Slight bit of controversy, but that's always, slight bit is always good. Motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone.